Hello there and welcome to yet another edition of the Lagos Transportation Agenda. My name is Austin Iyang and I'm coming to you from the premises of the Providence Hotel in GRA Ikeja, Lagos State. It was at this venue that the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents, which is a leading media group in the aviation industry, held its 29th annual conference, in which it explored the topic aviation financing in Nigeria, risks, opportunities, and prospects. The occasion also coincided with the launch of a compendium to celebrate champions of aviation development in Nigeria since 1999. As you probably know, the aviation industry recently celebrated 100 years in Nigeria. It's been a long journey, and the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents has kept track of it for the past 25 years. Hence the importance of this very edition of its annual conference. The occasion was graced by leading lights in the aviation industry as well as stakeholders representing each and every one of the different facets of aviation in Nigeria, talking about state chief executives such as the representative of the governor of Kebbi State, a representative of former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, representative of the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, SAN, as well as managing directors and CEOs of airlines, representatives of different facets of the industry such as ground holding, terminal operators, and so forth. Welcoming participants to the occasion, the chairman of LAAC, that is the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents, Mr. Suleiman Idris, listed a number of the challenges still bedeviling the aviation industry. But it sounded a hopeful note when he talked about the opportunities and the prospects that still lie ahead for an industry that, though it has come a long way over the past 100 years, still has a lot of potential, especially with the rise of the internal market and the hope of using aviation as a driver for economic growth as well as international relevance for Nigeria. He was full of praises for the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and especially the contributions that have been made by the current minister in the sector, Mr. Festus Keyamo, to reposition the Nigerian aviation industry for greater progress in the years ahead.
Aviation financing in Nigeria, the risk, opportunities, and prospects is both timely and relevant. The aviation sector is capital intensive by nature, requiring substantial investment in airport infrastructure, aircraft acquisition, maintenance, safety systems, and personnel development. Yet, Nigeria, like many developing nations, faces challenges such as limited access to long-term financing, high interest rates, forex volatility, policy inconsistency, and a lack of investor confidence. These are real and pressing risks. Nigeria's large population, our strategic geographical location, the growing middle class, and an increasing appetite for domestic and international air travel present a compelling case for targeted aviation investment. My dear ladies and gentlemen, to unlock these potentials, we must embrace innovative financing mechanisms, ranging from public-private partnership, build, operate, and transfer models, leasing arrangements, to sovereign-backed financing and targeted foreign direct investment. But these tools cannot thrive without an enabling environment, one that assures policy consistency, regulatory transparency, and the ease of doing business. The Nigerian aviation industry must also commit to building investors' confidence through sound governance, accountability, and a clear vision for the future. This is where collaboration among the government, private sector players, financial institutions, and the media becomes essential. As members of the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents, we see our roles not just as reporters, but as facilitators of informed dialogue and accountability. Through our stories, investigations, and coverage, we aim to promote transparency, highlight progress, and ensure that key conversations like today's reach the right ears. Permit me, therefore, to especially commend the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, SAN. Since assuming office, the Honorable Minister has shown a clear vision, a firm grasp of the challenges, a renewed clarity, courage, and coordination of the aviation sector. We have seen a refreshing sense of urgency in tackling long-standing issues. From infrastructural renewal to regulatory reform, from policy clarity to enhanced stakeholders' engagement, there's a noticeable shift in tone, in strategy, and in delivery. Also, the emphasis on transparent partnership has given the industry a new sense of direction. The insistence of global standards have no doubt been refreshing and impactful. We have also seen decisive actions, such as the bold move to rehabilitate and modernize the Murtala Mohammed International Airport here in Lagos, the drive to reposition our airports through credible public-private partnership, and the commitment to transparency and passenger satisfaction across all aviation services. Beyond projects, we are beginning to see a policy focus on sustainability, security, and service delivery. These are all crucial ingredients for growth in a modern aviation industry. Let me also recognize the dedication and professionalism of the heads and management teams of agencies under the ministry. These agencies are laying the foundation for a resilient and attractive and a competitive aviation sector, one that can serve as a true engine of development in Nigeria. Firstly, let me recognize the tireless effort of the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Chris Ona Majomo, whose leadership is reinforcing the regulatory backbone of our industry. Under his guidance, we have witnessed stronger enforcement of safety standards, improved consumer protection, and an encouraging openness to innovation. These are all critical pillars of the thriving aviation system. To the Managing Director of FAN, Mrs. Olumiku, I dare say your strategic reforms are already yielding visible results. The remodeling of critical airport infrastructure, the introduction of sustainability initiative, and the embrace of public-private partnership show a clear commitment to efficiency and world-class service delivery. Our very good friend at NAMA, Engineer Farouk Ahmed, we commend your continued work in airspace safety and surveillance, your efforts in modernizing air navigation services and improving technical infrastructure have been instrumental in safeguarding our skies and boosting operational confidence. I dare say that your collective works are not only driving progress, but also safeguarding the integrity, the safety, and sustainability of Nigeria's aviation industry. To all of you, I say keep pushing the boundaries, keep engaging stakeholders, keep raising the standards. The nation is watching. We at LAAC, we are also watching you, and history will remember you. I therefore urge you all stakeholders gathered here today to engage deeply, share openly, and contribute meaningfully to the conversations that will shape the future of aviation financing in Nigeria. Let us challenge old assumptions. Let us explore new models, and most importantly, let us commit to action beyond this call. As we begin today's deliberation, let us remember, aviation is not only a mode of transport, It is a driver of national growth, economic resilience, and international relevance. Let us work together to ensure that financing becomes a catalyst and not a constraint in building a stronger, safer, and more vibrant aviation industry in Nigeria. To each of you leaders seated here today, LAAC is saying to you, thank you. Your efforts are seen, your impacts are felt, and your commitment is shaping the future of aviation in Nigeria. Let me conclude by saying this, that aviation is not about planes and runways. It is about people, it is about policy, it is about progress, and it is about our national pride. What we build today will determine how far Nigeria can fly tomorrow. Thank you all, and I wish us a fruitful and impactful conference.
The LAAC chairman's welcome address was followed by a number of goodwill messages, most notably from the representative of the governor of Kebbi State, Mr. Habibu Mohammed Saadi Kamba, who is a permanent secretary in that state's Ministry of Transportation, as well as the president of the Aviation Roundtable Safety Initiative, in the person of retired Air Commodore Ademola Onitiju.
Just a message from the Kebbi State government and the good people of Kebbi State that send greeting to the LAAC and congratulate the League of Airports and Aviation Correspondents. From the government and people of Kebbi State, we congratulate LAAC on all their activities and wish also to continue to appreciate them on what they've been doing and also encourage them to also continue what they are doing. Thank you very much.
As I gather from the chairman of LAAC, aviation is a collaborative firm. Every segment is important. And for us at the Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative, we emphasize safety and try as much as possible to hold those in government, the regulatory agency, and all other participants accountable and responsible with a view to the observing the best global best practices. So without taking too much of your time, it's apt. I must commend the LAAC for the apt choice of topic, and to further show you and assure you that we are with you all the way. ART signifies the best global best practices in aviation, and we will still keep on with all of you as collaborators. Thank you.
Welcome on board the newly retrofitted LAAC ferry, where innovation meets comfort on water. As you step onto our state-of-the-art vessel, you'll notice the modern design and enhanced facilities that prioritize your safety and enjoyment. Our retrofitting process has not only upgraded the aesthetics, but also improved the performances of the boat, ensuring a smoother and faster journey across the beautiful Lagos waterways. Feel free to explore the spacious seating areas equipped with comfortable amenities such as life jackets for all passengers, a first aid box, fire extinguisher, all for a relaxing ride. Our knowledgeable crew is here to assist you, making your journey as enjoyable as possible. Join us as we set sail towards a more efficient and eco-friendly future, embracing technology while celebrating the vibrant culture of Lagos. Thank you for choosing LAAC Ferry, where every ride is a memorable adventure.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's the Lagos Transportation Agenda, and today we are looking back on the highlights of the 29th Annual Conference of the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents, which was held in Lagos on the 7th of August 2025. And talking of financing, the audience was held spellbound by the presentation of the first keynote speaker in the person of Mary Olowo, Chief Finance Officer at the Sabre Travel Network. Leveraging on 20 years of experience in financing and capital management, she dealt with the issue of financing options for the aviation industry, among which are the following. Traditional methods of financing, such as aircraft loans, leasing, including dry lease, wet lease, and hybrid lease, as well as non-traditional financing options such as capital and equity markets, which include equity financing, debt financing. She also spoke about asset-based and sales leaseback as an option, export credit-backed financing as yet another option. The keynote speaker now turned to the Nigerian context in funding, such as secured loans and leases, power and airline intervention funds, as well as interventions by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Aviation is the lifeblood of global trade, tourism, and innovation. But I think what fuels that is the financing. And we can all agree that without accurate financing, the aviation sector will fail. Nigeria is ranked 48% success rate as far as operational efficiency and on-time performance, as compared to the industry standard of 81%. And can we guess why this rate is so low? I think some people would say it's not lack of knowledge. There's so many knowledgeable people in this realm impacting the Nigerian aviation sector. And some would say it's not passenger decline. There is volume of travelers coming out of Nigeria. But I think the reason, or some of the reasons why we're seeing the low success rate is 1, aging aircraft, 2, inadequate maintenance, 3, infrastructural limitations, and 4, some external factors such as fuel scarcity, foreign exchange impact, etc. So despite these challenges, I will say Nigeria's aviation industry has and is still seeing growth in terms of passenger traffic, aircraft numbers, and the number of airports. You would all agree that we have a lot more airports now than we did 10 years ago. What is aviation financing? I think simply put, aviation or airlines, they require money to operate. I think you would all agree that most businesses require money to operate. So today, I will share traditional financing versus non-traditional financing. I think most of us are intimately familiar with the traditional methods, and these are methods where aircraft loan is the number one, and these are generally collateralized loans, right? You use the asset, the plane, as the collateral for the loan. This allows you, basically, as an airline owner, to be an owner, right? You own it, you carry the burden and the benefit of the company. Advantages of the airline loan or the aircraft loans include tax deductions. We've all heard a lot of what is happening with the tax reforms, right? They're here to stay and it's being pushed. So this gives you an opportunity to have tax deductions. This allows you some flexible payment options, and it allows other benefits such as depreciation and etc. The next one on my screen there, just in the interest of time, are your leasing options. And I think, again, the bulk of us here are familiar with those leasing options. You have a wet lease, a dry lease, and a hybrid. And this basically means that you don't own the asset, but you pay a leasing fee to use that asset. And this asset in this case would be airlines. Moving on to the non-traditional. So I'll spend a little bit more time in this area. We've got the capital and the equity market. This is quite dear to my heart from my experience at General Capital. So in this area, this equity finances allows you to open up ownership of your company to the outside market. By this, you're able to raise funds, especially for airlines that are looking to expand their routes or to dive into other areas that they may not currently be. This equity financing is a great method to do that. The debt financing is basically issuing corporate bonds or taking institutional loans to help fund your aircraft. Lastly, the last financing option I want to talk about is the export credit-backed financing. I think this is one that Nigeria could really take advantage of and tap into. This improves access to funding with government guarantees. This basically makes interest rates lower, and it makes it more affordable for new airlines. I think we can all agree that a lot of our airlines in Nigeria could probably use more fleets, right? In this funding type, the government comes in and gives you credit worthiness that allows you to be able to get better loan options to actually fund your aircraft. Now, the disadvantage is this is pretty tedious because credit is something that we're still very much developing here in Nigeria. And then this requires the buy-in of certain foreign agencies to ensure that this contract works well for all parties. We must continue to evaluate cost reduction methods that does not jeopardize our airline safety. I think you will all agree with me that nothing kills an airline quicker than a plane crash or any kind of circumvention of safety. With that said, I believe that once we can get proper financing, get our financials and our ducks in a row, Nigeria has the ability to increase its success rate from the 48% I mentioned when I started my speech to 81%. A lot of these practical steps I've discussed is duly and properly documented in Dr. Gabriel's book, Cutting Costs Without Cutting Corners. And I will encourage you to please grab a copy on your way out as we continue to push the advancement that we need, the innovation we need in the aviation sector in Nigeria. Thank you once again for your time.
If the first keynote speaker's presentation excited stakeholders in the venue at this conference, they were made to have a sober reflection with the presentation of the second keynote speaker in the person of the renowned economist, Mr. Bismarck Rewane. Mr. Rewane gave sobering figures about the present status of the Nigerian aviation industry vis-a-vis aviation industries elsewhere, especially given the fact that aviation is a global industry and every nation, including Nigeria, now sees the imperative of positioning themselves for relevance on the international stage.
Well, I'm going to address a few things. One, Nigeria's macroeconomic scorecard, global aviation trends, Nigeria's aviation sector, recommendations and conclusions. First, this is the scorecard of Nigeria's economy today. And one, we're going to be looking at a couple of things. So, Farid Zakaria said, first and foremost, stop doing dumb things. Two, start doing smart things. Then finally, start doing modern things. So, let's conclude this now. It says, one, Nigerian aviation sector is in need of consolidation, no doubt about that. There's need for a competitive hub system, preferably in Lagos and Abuja. Very strong and effective regulation for safety. Concessions and PPPs should be prioritized. You don't need to spend on airport if you have concession. Don't fix it. Let the new owner fix it.
As you can imagine, this 29th edition of the conference of the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents was an occasion of many highlights. On our next edition of the Lagos Transportation Agenda, we will continue our reporting on this momentous conference and bring to you more highlights of the event. For now, that's the show for today. I hope you join me next week for that promised report on the LAAC conference here on the Lagos Transportation Agenda. Until then, this is Austin Yang saying stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. God bless.